What is up guys, Andy, Forest Team Runner here, starting 2019 with our 2019 running goals video, just as we did last year. It's crazy because it feels like only a few weeks ago last year that we were recording our 2018 running goals videos. I was out on the trails with James, it was a beautiful day, and we got that done, and yeah, it's been a year. It's crazy. So anyway, before we jump into this video, just want to wish each and every one of you a very happy new year. So, before we jump into 2019's goals, let's quickly whiz through 2018's, see how we did. It's not so good. Let's see how we did. And before we jump into 2019, setting ourselves some lofty goals next year. So, without further ado, number one, we set ourselves a mileage target of 2,000 miles. In year one of running, we ran 1,200. In year two, we ran 1,500. In year three, we ran 1,800. And in year four, which is this year just gone, the fourth year of running, I wanted to get 2,000. Unfortunately, we failed. 1,880 something, 90 something, I don't know. So we're about 100 and a bit miles short, which is a bit of a shame. I didn't quite get to where I was, and there's no excuse. I've got no excuses, to be honest with you. I've had a few days off here and there, but overall, we've had some fantastic training blocks. We couldn't have done any more, I don't think, and I had a lot of time off, especially at this back end of the year with my wife's surgery. So, you know, circumstances didn't allow it this year. However, next year's target will be better. So, referring back to my bit of paper here, we set ourselves a goal of a 1:22.5. We smashed it. We smashed it, 1:20 and 48 seconds. I'm delighted with that because last year I set myself a goal of a 1:25.5 and I didn't achieve it. And I said at the time that I would give up running if I didn't achieve a 1:25 last year. And I didn't. I didn't give up running, and this year we got a 1:20. So that's cool. So that's the second goal done. Goal number three was to run a 36:30 10k. Now I knew at the time that this was going to be a tough goal to achieve. However, I thought to myself at the time, I can do it. If I really push, I can do it. And I just fell short. 36:41. 11 seconds. So close. So it's a fail. However, it's a valiant attempt. Goal number four was to run a good for age marathon time. Unfortunately, this is another fail. We had a marathon booked, Gloucester Marathon, back in August. Unfortunately, they had to cancel the event. They moved it here to the Forest, actually. But the course was certainly not suitable, shall we say, to run a good for age time. It was on fire road type of trail, so it wasn't anything technical. However, it was quite lumpy bumpy and it was 4 laps. And I knew that course and it was never going to happen. Along with other circumstances, unfortunately, it didn't happen. I did try and revise that goal by jumping into a marathon at the end of the year. But obviously, as I've gone back to a second ago, my wife had her ankle surgery at the end of this year. And that did kind of have to make things shift around and priorities change. So unfortunately, we couldn't do it. I set myself 2 bonus goals. Those were to run a 5k race. Didn't do it. Obviously, as you've just recently seen, run a time trial because I didn't run a race. Doesn't count though, does it really? I mean, yes, it's a new PB and I count it as a new PB for myself. However, it's not a race. I was on my own. Therefore, didn't happen. And the final one was to push ourselves out of our comfort zone, which I did do. I ran the OMM Trails Marathon. Now for me, previously, prior to this year, I'd only ever run trails half marathons. I'd never run a marathon. If you want to refer back to that video, ka-ching, ka-ching, wherever it is, it was a tough and rough day at the office. It was an experience, it was an eye-opener, and my word, didn't it push me outside my comfort zone. So I'm going to give myself a thumbs up for that one. That really did push myself. So that was 2018's goals. Let's get on to 2019. So following on in a similar fashion, let me get up my pen and paper. 2,200 miles for next year. Yes, I didn't hit the 2,000 this year. However, I want to do 2,200. I want to keep that progression. I want to keep raising the bar. My training will hopefully be increased this year. Therefore, it's essential that I increase that mileage. As far as I'm concerned, regardless of this tail end of the year, I think I could have got the 2,000, which is disappointing. So we're going to go for a new goal. Number one, 2,200 miles. Goal number two is going to be to run a 1:17 half marathon. 1:17. I'm very aware it is diminishing returns as you get towards this speedier end of the spectrum, and it took all of my might to run a 120. I believe I can do a let's clarify here, a sub 117, not a 117 something. I want a sub 117, so that can be a 116.59, doesn't matter. So that is my second goal. As I said, diminishing returns, it's going to get harder and harder and harder to achieve these targets. However, I believe with the right training, like I have been doing this year and the previous year and the previous year, and with the increased mileage, it is an achievable goal, but it is a stretch goal. So we're raising the bar. Goal number 3, a sub 35 10k. That is a minute and a half off the goal that we set this year, and we didn't even make the goal. I have a 10k in 3 weeks time, as a lot of you know, so that's going to be interesting, and my goal there is going to be to try and get a low 36, late 35. So that means that by the end of this year, I want to shaved off another minute. That is monstrous. That is monstrous. Sub 35. And of course, we're keeping this. We're not raising the bar because we haven't done it yet. Number 4, a good for age marathon time. I want that sub 3. Obviously, we have the Newport Marathon booked. At the end of May, we are going to have our first attempt. This is then going to shape the year. If we do this and we achieve the goal, I can then put the marathon to one side, get back to maybe some shorter, sharper stuff, some half marathons, and then maybe try something, a bit of a trail adventure towards the end of the year. And that's what I'd like to do. However, if we don't achieve it and it all goes tits up at Newport, there will be an autumn marathon. So the year schedule is going to really depend on how May goes. So that is goal number 4. Good for age time, sub 3 hour marathon. But as you will see by the series starting, I will be training for a sub 2:55. But the goal remains sub 3, good for age time. 2 bonus goals will carry over. I want to run a 5k race. I hate 5ks with a passion, but I want to be in the pack of a 5k race. I want to be racing with people. It's all well and good doing these time trials, and as much as they hurt and it's horrible, I hate it. I need to be in a racing environment. I need to see what I can do. So I want to run a 5k race. And again, I want to push myself outside of my comfort zone. This is probably going to be another trail marathon, but it's going to be a trail marathon maybe a bit further afield, potentially an ultra. I don't know. But at the end of the year, as I said, if I reach that that marathon time, then I will certainly shoot for something pretty extreme towards the end of the year. And you know what I'm like, guys, I can't just go and do something for fun. It's going to be competitive. So the pushing outside the comfort zone could well be something like that, or it could be something completely different. We will have to wait to see how the year pans out. So those are my 6 goals for the year 2019. The bar was here, it's now here. We have some hard work, grinding to do. What are your goals? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear what you guys are striving to achieve in 2019. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, guys, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. And I will see you soon. Until then.